couple of minutes. Each candidate will speak, inshallah. And my son right there is going to be handing out cards and pens. If you have any questions, you may write questions. They'll all be written. There won't be any oral questions to any of the candidates. There's only a limit of 2 questions per candidate, but you can write whom you want to answer your question. So he'll be going around handing you cards and pens, so just grab one if you have a question, inshallah, so that way then you have it while the candidates are speaking. Zaid, go ahead and hand them out, please. We'll start out with the first, I went in alphabetical order, and so the first in alphabetical order is Brother Khalid and Alnajar. You come up here. You just come stand, please. Yeah.
I thought they were going to be sitting there.
2 to 3 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khalid Alnajar. I've been with the board last year, and I'm with the community for 20 years. I'm very proud what we have, especially the board I worked with. They are great people, and that's great community. Okay, and this is great community. The reason why we all united. The best thing I seen here, we are Muslim. It's Clifton Mosque. There is no Arab mosque or Pakistani Indian, or so we have very, very special, great community. And for my part, what I can add to this, I'm looking for the future. We have a land sitting for 15 years, and we nothing really going on, or there is any plan to it. I think it's time to plan it. It can take sometimes, but somebody has to start it. Because if you look back 15 years ago, we have a little house. Now that little house is not going to fit us for this big house. So 20 years from now, we're going to have the same problem. So we need more space. So that 4 acres been sitting for 15 years. I like to start with everybody. And that's how we're going to do it. We get more space, we get playground for the kids, we get more school, and we have more park for the future. So somebody has to start that one for our future. And that's where the first thing I'd like to start. Thank you so much.
Jazakallah khairan. Next is Dr. Alvi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I can't hear that. Wa alaikum assalam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So I ask Allah to give me the strength to open my heart so I can express myself and remove anything which is stopping me to speak. This is the dua. You know, Musa alayhi salam made it for his brother Harun. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask this dua. So inshallah, you know, the Muslim Ummah, including our community, is going through a lot of turbulence these days. And this is something new. And our job is, as a board member, or community, anybody, to put that community together so we can think together, we can act together, and also we need to join our hearts, unity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing I want to mention is the basis foundation, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, hold strong to the hold of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't be divided. This is what Allah says. So we have to get this thing done first. And this is not easy thing. Our families, father, mother, children, that's our family. And every person in the family has a role. father has a role, mother has a role, children has a role. And as you hear that, there is a whole village need to raise a child. But here as a community, we have to have a whole community to take care of our future generation. It's not family job only, it's job of the whole community. We can do it only when you are united. And that thing, remember, brothers and sisters, communication, respect, trust. These are three very, very important ingredients to be together. Transparency, communication, and respect for each other. Anything we have now on, if we want to successful community being all over, we are attacked from left, right, every side, up, down. We should prepare ourselves, especially the children, new generation. You don't know stigma they are facing in the schools. You don't know discrimination they are facing in the schools, even in the school buses. And today, 2 sisters are shot in Columbus, right here, close to us, because they were wearing the hijab. So it's very, very, we have a challenge, big challenge, and we have to do together. This life, as the very famous dua, we make it when we go for Hajj. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. This is we make when we go around the tawaf, we make this dua. So we need good of this dunya and good for akhirah. We cannot separate it. But this dunya, we need the resources. We need the material strength. We need the institutions. We need the hospital. So many things we have to do, show them this is Muslim Ummah. And this is my vision. If I'm there, have the chance, inshallah, I promote these, how we can accomplish this goal. We'll set the goals, and goals should be achievable, it should be measurable, and it should have a future consequences. So time, she's telling me the time? Okay. Jazakallah khair. May Allah have more blessing than what I talked about.
Jazakallah khairan. Reset this. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have next Brother Majed Dabdoub.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah and alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. First of all, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything we have here, for this place, for our community, for our people, and also I'd like to thank the election committee. They worked so hard. May Allah bless and reward them. They volunteer their work. And also I'd like to thank the board. They work very hard. I've been in the board for so many years, and I know how hard. Please keep the board members who are on the board now in your dua. And also I'd like to thank the people who nominated me and accepted this position. As you know, I served on the board for 4 years, and then another 2 years, and then I took a break for 2 years, and now I'm back. So, as some of you know, I've been in Cincinnati since 1981. I have my own business now and do consulting work locally and internationally. And since 1990, I've been serving in several committees in different capacities, in different boards, local, national, and international boards. All of them are nonprofit organizations. So, what can I do to help our community? Several things. First, I believe strongly that if there is no fear in Allah, we can't really achieve a lot of things. The first and most is all of us, we need to fear Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, so many places, ittaqullah. So if we have this taqwa, all of us, then all the other issues can be resolved. But what are we facing now in our community? First and most is the concept of unity. We have so many things in common, more important than anything else. La ilaha illallah. This is what we have in common. And also the Quran. When we pray, we face one direction. When we pray, we read in Arabic. But we have so many things in common. What divides us? Why communities are not united in the United States and also overseas? Because it comes down to this concept, fearing Allah. So if people fear Allah, everything else will be resolved. We will have united community. It is an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. This is an order to have unity in the community. So if we have fear, we have taqwa, then we can solve other issues. The unity in the community can be resolved. If the unity of the community is there, then other issues like the financial issues can be resolved. Yes, I agree with Brother Najjar, Khalid Najjar. We have land, we are not using it, and we've done a study. I have that study. We have the drawings, and we spent actually $5,000 to do that study. And we came in with an estimate how much it's going to cost us to build that community center. I think this is one of the goals I will have as a board member, to make this happen. And the other thing we have is we really need to have some financial stability. I think people are tired of us calling them and telling them, donate, donate, donate. I think we need to think from other aspects to come up to have this financial stability. There are ways. I think this is another objective I will have. First is, what can we do with this land? My goal is actually this community center. Second is to have some kind of stability. We have some money now available, but we need to invest it. But we need to look at other sources beside the donation aspect. And also the other thing we need to think about, the next several years, we're going to have a lot of challenges as Muslims living in the United States. But again, it depends on how we react. We go back to the concept, ittaqullah. But this is, as far as the challenges we're going to face, that's simple. But we are going to face this challenge. What my concern is that some of our communities might run away. So we need to provide the concept of how can we enforce the idea of fearing Allah and try to, Allah is the protector, but also we have to do our part. The other concept is what we have, the challenge we're facing. We really need to think ahead. Yes, some of the board members, may Allah bless them, they worked on the youth programs. I think we need to be more aggressive on this aspect. And we need to leave a legacy behind us. We need to think for the future generation, our children and their children. I have 4 grandchildren, and I need to think about their future. This is one of the other things we need to do. With that, may Allah bless all of you, may Allah protect all of you, may Allah protect our community, and may Allah keep us united. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khairan. Next we have Dr. Serry Hassan.
السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. I came here in the United States in 1969, and I live in Cincinnati since that time. And I joined the Islamic community in that time, and there was 4 people. And we used to pray in that UC Dr. Tanvir office. Then we bought that little house across from the church in Fairfield Avenue. And when the community got enlarged, about 50 people, we decided to come here. We bought that building in Clifton that we are in now. Then when the thing is, the community got enlarged and One Friday it was 60 below zero, and there was some of the Muslim was praying outside in the cold. So really, Dr. Qureshi, bless him, he decided to build that piece of land, and we built the new mosque in 2003. And now that really, if we look in Friday also, there's a lot of people comes on Friday, and we have to think in the future that we going to enlarge that mosque or make remodeling, because, if we didn't do that, we'll have the same problem like we did before. People will be outside praying, and it is very cold. The Saturday school, when we were working on Sunday school before Westchester opened, and there was this children, my children, other people's children, and we teach them. Then Westchester opened and the 1993, and it moved over there, the Sunday school, and the Clifton area without no school. Then we decided to get the school here in Clifton. It took me from 93 to almost 2000, and we got the board to agree that we open Saturday school here to teach the children. And thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have now almost 150 child learn the Quran and the Islamic study and the Arabic. And one of the aims for this community by being in the board, they tried to remodeling that mosque and increase the capacity to accommodate more of the people to worship and come pray, and improve the relation between the mosque and the board and the community, and bring more people to come pray Fajr and Dhuhr and Maghrib and Isha, because we still till now we have about 10-15 people comes in the Fajr, and we like to see more than that. And really we need to cut the budgets, and because when I was on the board, the budget of the Islamic Association was $450,000, through the 2 years, 3 years that I was there. And now it is almost 160, 180, 110. It vary, and there was too much spending. So we like to cut this spending a little bit so we can improve. We have, surplus money to improve the things that we like to improve it. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Serry. Next up, we have Yasser Khan.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. First of all, I'd like to thank the election committee and all the work that's been going on already at the mosque. There's been tremendous progress. Working for a mosque and working on committees at the mosque is a very thankless job. It's something that comes with a lot of headaches. People aren't never satisfied, and so really the people that sacrifice their time and their family's time and do the work, really, please keep them in your du'as. They deserve a path to Jannah just because of that. I've been part of this community in some ways for over 30 years. As a child, even in high school and grade school, I was very involved with Clifton activities when all we had was the house next door. So there's a long time attachment to this place, and I've seen a lot of progress that has happened in Clifton. And alhamdulillah, if you think about it, the challenge that Muslim communities have is a challenge that no other organization has. We are the single most diverse organization probably on the face of the earth. We have people from all countries, all different backgrounds. We have people of all educations. We have people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. We have such an incredible amount of diversity, and we somehow have to manage all of those differences and stay united. And that's not a small task. It's easier in Muslim countries because you have one ethnic group to deal with. Maybe you've got some other subgroups, but it's very, very difficult here. And we've been living in America under those circumstances. So it's a tall order. My goal is that there's three major parts of the community that I'd like to see improvements on. Number one is 95% of the Muslim community is absent from mosque life. We see these Muslims here during Jummah sometimes during Eid prayer. We don't have enough room during those events, but we don't see those people here. So I'd like to find out why those people are not coming. Now there might be many, many reasons, but those people are not a part of this community. And for us to survive, we need those people on board. It's the financial realities. We have some people that have been carrying this community on their shoulders for the last 20, 30 years, and may Allah reward them financially. But we have a base of people, that 95% of the people that could help us financially, but they're not coming to the mosque for whatever reason. So we need to be very serious about finding out what those reasons are and re-engage them. If that means becoming a more inclusive, then we need to do that. If that means that we have to create a love for the space. It's people will do a lot if they love the place. They will sacrifice if they love the space. The second thing, after that 95% of the people, is that we have to make sure that there is inclusiveness for the women of our community. The women control not only half of the population, but also the future of the children, in most cases, of this community. So if the mosque is not inclusive in any way, in some ways, towards the women of the community, you have not only cut yourself off from half the population, but also from the children. And the third thing is the children. We have a lot of kids. It's very challenging for us to be able to create a space for them to be able to play. Sometimes they come down here in the basement and they're playing down here in the basement because they don't have any other spot. They have literally 20 feet of grass to be able to play on. And that's really, that cannot stand. That, the children want to play. And so we have to have a space, whether we outsource a space or figure out some other thing to do with that land. It's really an urgent situation that we have to create love. That those children have to have a love for the space, otherwise they're going to go elsewhere. We know this. There's very troubling times ahead. Things could get even more difficult for Muslims. The problem isn't whether non-Muslims like or dislike Islam. For me, the problem is that if Muslims have bad PR and are not seen in a favorable way, then people are being turned away from God. And the relationship with God is the central relationship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that do not even mock people. Do not mock people, because lest in your mocking they say something foolish about Allah. So we have to take that very seriously, and we have to be the best examples that we can be, and that starts with united our community, inshallah ta'ala.
Jazakallah khairan. We have 2 more candidates up. If you've come in between, make sure you get a card and you can write a question if you'd like. And then you can also write down who you want to answer your question. I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Next we have Brother Nashid Shakir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum. People are woke. Great. Alhamdulillah. As you listen to everyone that's come before, it's been a theme of working unity, inclusiveness, and development. Well, I'm running on the theme of stronger together. Because I think inside of this masjid is everything that we need to do whatever we want to do. And I don't think that we're utilizing all of the skills, the ages, the gender, the ethnicities, the abilities in line with our belief in Allah. Because if we believe in Allah as we say we do, then we're going to utilize what we have here that Allah has given us in a much better way than we've been doing. My past 4 years on the board, I've seen tremendous development, tremendous growth, tremendous inclusion, tremendous diversity in relation to what I've seen before. And that's because people decided there need to be a change. And things need to happen. The young folks stepped up. The elders became consultants. Ethnicities became on the board. Africans, African Americans. We got females on the board that weren't there. And that's good for our community. Because as it was stated before, I think by Brother Yasser, we've got the most diverse community in America. They say about the churches that on Sundays, it's the most segregated time in America. And I say on Fridays, we have the most diverse times in America. Because we have every ethnicity inside of our Masalim coming together to pray. But when we leave, we barely know each other's names. We know how to say Assalamu alaikum, but what does this brother do? And what does this brother do? As brother, what's your name, brother? Brother Majed. As Brother Majed said, when it came to the development, a few years ago we did the scope of what can happen with the property. Down to the $5,000 we spent for the schematics. But that's because we had a person here with the skills and the ability and people inside the masjid that was able to get it done. We could have did that all internal. Everything that we do, we could do all internally if we begin to exploit what we have inside of ourselves. Allah says that I made you one community. I made you one community so that you get to know each other, so that you get to grow together. And that's what we need to do. I'm running on that platform, stronger together. I'm not worried about the outside. I'm not looking for salvation from anybody from the outside. I'm not looking for my legacy to be built from anybody from the outside. Because if it's going to be done, it's going to be done by us. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khairan. And now we have Sister Aida. I didn't try your last name. I thought I might mess it up. So, can you tell me how you say it?
Zvekic.
I'm going to let her say her last name before I ruin it.
Assalamu alaikum.
You're going to have to be a lot louder.
Okay. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. All praise and thanks belong to Allah. I cannot agree more than what is already been said. Unity and working together and coming for the sake of Allah, building our community. I was just, by listening, I was thinking, okay, so what do I contribute? Because they all have experience, they all have knowledge how the community works, and I really don't. I was not on the board before, and was mainly attendee and not in a leadership role. I guess my biggest contribution, I'm not eloquent, you'll find out soon enough. I guess my biggest contribution is actual work. Like, I feel like there is idea and I want to see it through. And I've been put in many positions to do exactly that. Ever since coming to the United States at 17, the war started and I had to act. We had to do something. I couldn't just watch. And I'm feeling like we are coming again to the point that we might have to act. I organized Bosnia Relief Fund. I spoke everywhere that I could speak. Again, I'm not eloquent, but I had to. If I don't speak, nobody will. And it had to be said. And Then we brought people here as for medical treatment and started, like I said, nonprofit organization, Bosnia Relief Fund, and put all my efforts were on Bosnian community. And then I had experience also that you mentioned with trying to pull people to the masjid. Bosnians came with no faith, really, after 50 years of communism. So that was struggle trying to bring them to the masjid because they felt they don't know anything, so they're not comfortable coming. They don't know even how to pray. So how we gonna do it was starting halakas. Am I out of time?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Starting halakas, starting to bring a light inside of them like we all have. So it wasn't anybody's, I think all of us individually have to choose to want to be closer to Allah. We can put an effort, but on the end, it's He who guides. And again, I think we should have to put an effort. We don't know what benefit our works would have on the end. So we have to put an effort to try to bring our other, because then 20 years down the road, they are, I can see all of it. Like they're coming because their kids are on drugs and they're lost. And you see that side too, 20 years down the road. Thank you for nominating me. If I could do some good for this community, let me have the position. If I would not benefit me or you or become closer to God in this process, then please don't vote for me and may Allah not give me this position.
Jazakallah khairan, Sister Aida, and Jazakallah khairan to every nominee who came out and considered doing this. It's a huge responsibility to be on the board of the masjid. You make sacrifices of your time and your family, and may Allah reward all of you with the best in this life and the hereafter, because the work only gets more after you get elected. I just wanted to give everybody is there anybody who wants to hand in another question? Because we can do written questions addressed to certain people. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody got a card and has a question. Zaid, do you want to go? Sadia, do you have a question? So they're specific for specific people. First question is for Brother Majed.
Can we read it?
Basically, the gist of the question is somebody wants to know what Brother Majed will bring to the board if he's elected now, based on what he's done in the past. So, what would he bring different or the same? What would you bring to the board?
Is this what the question is?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to everybody. So.
Well, this is what the board. Can I read this question?
So I'd just like everybody to know this is not a place for debate. This is not a place to get into any arguments. We are here to learn more about the candidates in order to vote for them. You can talk to them privately if you have things that should be said in private and not in public. So.
Well, the question is basically, it says the board members have been permanently divided in the past, extremely divided in the past, with you were board members, president, etc. in the organization. What measures or behavior change you think is needed and will be implemented to eliminate this division, fighting in the future to bring harmony to this board and this community? It's a good question, and the person who wrote this question, may Allah bless you and reward you. And this is a reality. We had problems, we had issues on the board, and it's not going to go away.
Well,
I mean...
Excuse me, I wrote the question.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you have been a board member for 30 years? For 30 years you said you stayed, something like that. You say you were, I don't know how many years, but what I have observed, that the board has been extremely divided, fighting with each other, and there was no harmony, really there was no benefit to anybody, financially or personally. but they were still fighting with each other.
Okay.
Now you came back after retirement for 1 year or something. What do you think you can bring new to this board that they will be in harmony and working together? And what can you change? What can you implement the change?
Well, the message.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. The message is clear. I started my talk by focusing on one thing: ittaqullah, and this is the message. Fear Allah.
Yeah, but Allah is not. Allah has given you some of these talents and some of these capabilities to overcome some of these difficulties in life. That's what my question is. What would you do differently than what you have done in the past that you can effectively have a good working board for the benefit of the community and for the benefit of Islam?
Okay.
Thank you very much. After this, though, if it needs to continue in private afterwards, I think whatever you answer, and we're going to go to the next question, inshallah.
Again, fearing Allah is the basic and the most important aspect. If each one of us fear Allah in the way it's supposed to be done, we can have arguments, and even during the Prophet's life, they argued, they had different opinions. But the different in opinions, it should not affect the end results. We can have different opinions, but the question becomes, are we getting things done? Yes, things are getting done. We look back. Is our situation now better than 4 years ago? Yes. Is our situation going to be better in the future? Yes. Because I don't question the intention of any board member. All of their intentions, I'm assuming, is good. We have different opinions. We have different ways of managing things. But ultimately, my goal, as all of you know, if you're a board member, you don't get paid. The reason why we do it, not just to benefit us, we're doing it first and most to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have strong people on the board. We have people who have strong personality, and this is acceptable as long as the end results will not affect the community and divide the community. So far, we are blessed. We have still united community. We are better than other communities. And what we're going to bring in the future, this concept. We need to work together. Yes, we can have different opinions, but ultimately the board decision is to be able to make policies. This is why you have the election every 2 years. If you don't like somebody on the board, get rid of them and bring somebody else. And that's the beauty of things. So, having said that, I took a break for 2 years for other reasons, and I was asked, I was nominated, and I feel strongly that I have the experience, the knowledge I can bring to the board, and hoping that we can work together for the benefit of our community.
I think there's a similar question for Dr. Alvi, and this person is asking, what would you do different this time on the board if you're elected?
There is a new situation we are involved. We are under test. Allah put us on the test, the whole Muslim Ummah. Everywhere, not only city, any country you go to, we are in trouble. And if you look at the history, you know, we have a beautiful history. Look at the Spain. We 600-700 years, they were dominant in knowledge. And people were coming to the Muslim to learn from all over the Europe, all over the world. And we need to bring this positive, the shining history to our kids, our community. I tell you, this few weeks ago, I was sitting there upstairs, Zohar time, and some youth was sitting there. And I started telling them, in Spain, look at the history. History is to learn the lesson from the history. As a teacher, I know that I can inspire, bring the unity. And unity comes with the respect. What question was, how we become the unity? It's a respect. It's two-way. Respect, you If you want to respect somebody to you, you respect that person first, and he will respect back to you. So we have to teach them our history. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was put in the test as soon as he declared, people, you accept my message, Allah sent me as a messenger. And his community turned against him. But how he brought close? By mercy, by respect, by helping. And we are missing these ingredients. And I can see I'm here almost every day. Nobody's here, I'm here. I can see the people coming here asking, I came here to learn about Islam. Is there anybody who can explain to me what Islam is? Because I'm fed up listening on the TV and reading the newspaper and magazines. I tell how much time you have, what's your qualification, what's your background? He said, I'm PhD in chemistry. So I told him all the Spain history, how the Muslims, they changed the civilization of the whole world in 600 years. We don't know. It's medicine, it's astronomy, physics, you talk chemistry, algebra. Algebra came from, it's Arabic word. And then even this Hawaii, there's a capital, Lolo, it's an Arabic word. And nobody knows that. Lo is the Arabic word, means pearls. And Lolo, they are here. Pearls are here. Muslim came there. We need to tell the people we are not backward. We have changed the history. We serve the humanity. We can do it again. We need to give this message by getting together upstairs, standing in the line when we say, as Brother Shakir said, we lose our identity, become one body when we stand in the line. Do we come to the masjid to do the practice as a one unit? We need to do that. I will emphasize that all the time. We need this place populated, like in Ramadan.
Jazakallah khairan. Dr. Serry, there's a question for you. It's also similar. If you were elected to the board this time, what would you do differently on the board than you have done in the past?
Each time is different, and each time has its, tactique. The last 5-6 years that I've been in the board is completely different from the few years that coming up. So depending on the situation and the circumstances, we try to improve the relation. Thank you.
Well, not every time that things are different. Islam is the same.
I'm sorry, this isn't.
Brother, I didn't talk about Islam. Islam not it's the same. I talk about the community and the board and the people that comes is different.
And nothing has changed in the Prophet according to what I have been taught. We have to practice the same thing.
We have this written for a reason because we don't want it to turn into a debate. I'm not saying that that's what you're trying to do.
I'm talking about the people, the community, the masjid. 4 or 5 years ago was different than the 5-6 years that are coming. I'm not talking about the religion of Islam. I'm talking about the community and the masjid and the situation and the circumstances. Please understand me. I didn't say anything about religion.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Serry. Sister Aida, this question is for you. Being on the board is sometimes a tough job. Being a woman on the board can be even tougher. Do you feel you will be able to be firm in your position if and when you are faced with opposition?
Definitely. I wish my husband is here.
Do you have experience?
I've been a manager for 4.5 years, and I have experience. Like I said, I was leading Bosnia Relief Fund, and there are always, firmness can be a curse too, because it leads to conflict. So there's a fine balance between being firm and being open-minded and cooperative. So firmness, if it's something that's black and white, absolute firmness, yes, I would not budge. But if things that are not black and white, they're usually, and I'm sure on a board is pretty much, I've never served, I'm assuming it's black and white, I'm thinking religious, something that Allah decreed, it's like, okay, I'm not budging on this no matter what. But on a board, I think there is a room for reconsideration and and open-mindedness may be needed more than being firm.
Jazakallah khairan. This was to all or to any candidate. I'm going to ask it of the candidates that didn't have a specific question asked of them. What is this? So I'm going to give this to Yasser. What is the single most important thing we need to accomplish as a community, as a board, this coming year?
Wow, single most important thing. I think that, as I said in my opening statement, the biggest challenge we have is our diversity. And we have a history of people that are not involved in the mosque. So we have to figure out why are they just coming during Jummahs, or why are they just coming during Ramadan? Why are they just coming during the Eid prayers? And we have to be able to re-engage those people. Those people still have an attachment to God. They need spiritual guidance. So they're going elsewhere for their spiritual guidance. So we need to be able to get them back in. So what that involves is finding out why they're not coming. Were their feelings hurt? Did somebody yell at them? Did they not feel included? What's the problem? So unless we take that step, we humble ourselves to say, hey, something might have happened to sever that relationship, we can't make progress. We have to be able to reach out to those people and say, we need you here. We need you as a part of our community. You're suffering the same sort of things that we're suffering. Your children are being targeted just like our children. So they need sanctuary. And the mosque has to be a place of sanctuary. And so that's really, to me, is the most important thing. They bring with them a lot of talents. We have a lot of professionals that don't come, that have talents in many, many areas. You're just seeing a glimpse of this talent here. But we have 95% of the Muslims out there, they incredibly talented people. The best at their jobs in many ways. And so them being separated separates us from their talents and their resources, not just financial, but other resources as well. So we have to be smart about getting those people back. If this is a club and these are only people that we're worried about, we're not going to survive, right? In the next 20 years, we're not going to survive. If we have to get rid of this, this is not an exclusive club. This is a religion of God, and God wants His people here. So we have to be able to do that.
Thank you,
Sorry
Yasser.
for taking so long.
Brother Khalid, can you also answer the same question? What is the single most important thing we need to accomplish as a community or as a board this coming year? I want to make sure everybody gets a question, and we have one more for Dr. Serry.
The most important thing to have trust to each other. We're all going the same way for our kids, and the most important thing, we are Muslim. How we're gonna win as afterlife? So to stick the real bad, which we are Muslim, we have to get together to win the end, and we win in beginning by remembering the end. So what I'm saying, together, trusting each other, everybody doing seek of God, that's how we become community. And everybody has to give, and that's how we get credit to go to Jannah. If everybody give little, even teeny tiny thing, shak tamara, that will work. So the board by himself is not gonna work, community by himself is not gonna work. We have all work together and trust each other. So the most important to trust each other, and everybody get the right position, the right things. That's how things work together.
Jazakallah khairan. Kind of leading on this, Brother Nashid, what will you do to increase the number of volunteers at the masjid? Because that's a problem.
I think the biggest way that we increase volunteers is that we get out of these walls. And we have to get out into the community. We have to be able to talk at all levels of the community and maybe break down some of the caste system that we may have in our thinking. Because Prophet Muhammad didn't only go after those with wealth. In fact, he went after those who didn't have wealth. Those who actually needed a lot in order to change their lives. And I think that maybe we work with institutions to tell them who we are. And we need to be working into the community to let people know who we are. We have a lot that we can give. We have a lot that we can contribute. And they're all looking for direction and some leadership. And there's no better leadership in this country or this world than Islam when it's done properly. And we need to shine our light outside of these walls.
Jazakallah khairan. Dr. Serry, this is the last question that I have. Over the past 35 years, the board has spent the majority of the masjid's savings. What will you do to ensure masjid funds are spent wisely and with good purpose?
Yes, to be sure that not too much spending. There's a lot of waste of the fund of the masjid, for the past 2 years. So just be sure everything is on right spending and nothing go away.
Jazakallah khairan.
Can I make one correction what I just said?
Sure.
We need to shine our light more outside these walls, because lights or shine.
Jazakallah khairan.
Can I say something?
Well, actually, I'm going to give everybody a minute to give one closing argument before we end. Before that, I just want to let everybody know that voting has already started. The table to the right is where you go and get your name checked off the membership list. The table to the left is where you go vote. There are other voting times in case anybody missed the voting times that I went over in the beginning. There will be voting tomorrow at the fundraising dinner. There will be voting Monday and Wednesday in the evening from 6:30 to 8, inshallah. And then Friday we have 2 times after Jumu'ah from 1:30 to 3:30, and then also again from 5:30 to 7:30. So in case anybody missed that part, I just want you to know that there's a lot of different options. And if you know somebody who couldn't make it today, this will go out to all the members, the videotape of what happened today, inshallah, so that way if they want to watch it and then come in and vote, even if they couldn't make it today, they can still have the benefit of hearing all of you. We have 15 minutes, so I really need everybody to stay on their 1 minute mark. Okay, inshallah, jazakallah khair. I'm just going to start with Brother Majed, and we're just going to go down if there's anything that you would like to say to finish up the forum.
I think we have to look at the future. We cannot look back, and it's not healthy. So this is why we have to look at the future, and we need to, what I feel sometimes that our community, we hold grudges of what happened in the past. Believe me, our children and grandchildren, they really don't care what happened 20 years ago or 5 years ago. What they care about, what have you done? I think if each one of us will understand that, let's forget about what happened in the past. Let's put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think one of the most important aspects, we're going to see the challenge. If we have stable financial situation, I think we could achieve a lot. In order for us to do any program we have, anything we need to do, we have to have money. If we don't have that money, it's really hard to do things. We have done a lot, by the way. We have 4 full-time people working for us here. So we have achieved a lot. Let's look at what we want to do and achieve the next 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. And let's stop looking backward, and let's look forward. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khairan. Dr. Alvi, would you like to say anything else?
Yeah, going back to the volunteer situation, with those audience sitting here, how many of you are involved in volunteer work? Think about it. I tell you that people want to see action. They want to see activities in this masjid. I tell you that in Ramadan, I started, mashallah, let me accept it and accept everybody who contribute to Ramadan Iftar. It's increasing every year. Population is, more people are coming in Ramadan now. But we don't have volunteers. But as they say something is going on, a lot of people come and join. A lot of people. And they help, and we don't know them. When they see something there and need help, they come. So we need to show the people we are active. We are doing something. There are activities going on. And this is nothing happened without respect. This is very important. Show the respect to each other. Be humble. Be merciful. That was the mission. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Rahmatul Alameen. He was Rahman forever. We learned those are not big things, those are small things. And I propose people, this light in summer, I see on the red light, green light, people having the cold water from the churches, people free, they were handing free bottles. I proposed many times to the brother, let's do it this summer, this light, let's stand there in front of masjid, offer the cold water to the people sitting in the car when the red light is there. But no, one time there was a lot of snow, we have no arrangement, and it was Jummah prayer. I announced it, brother, let's go, let's remove the snow. 2 people came out. So inside we have passion. There is no passion. We need to create passion in the community to face the challenges of tomorrow. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, put us in the challenge, the test. I tell you, this is mercy, so that we wake up. We wake up to our duties and do it.
Jazakallah khairan. Brother Khalid.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to talk again about the land. I was expecting from somebody to ask me a question, what's the difference? It's been sitting 15 years. Why now you talk about it? So what's going to make it different? That's why exactly why I mentioned that. And why I do for a living, I have business. I've been working 20 years. I have 10 stores. So why this is my part of business to manage things and to plan it. This land, if we take it the way it is, we need to finish it. We're never gonna start it. So what we'll do, we're gonna do phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to start it. And I would like to have, see with the board, we open separate account. We're not gonna take any money from this money existing for the mosque, because this money is enough, just enough for it. This has to be different sources, and I do have different plans. But that's what I'm talking about. Somebody has to start the first stone. And when we start it, it's not me, next generation, somebody has to start it. And I hope, I promise, I will start the first stone with that land. And the rest, as I said, if we trust each other and we work together, we can do it. And phase 1, 2, 3, 4, until we finish it, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Khalid. Sister Aida.
My son says, I'm going to be your campaign manager. You should go on a platform, let's make Clifton Mosque great again. So I would just say that greatness comes from inside, so we'll have to do first work on us and then on others. And I'm sorry I don't have experience to talk as far as big projects are concerned, but inshallah my contribution would be for the better of all of us.
Jazakallah khairan. Dr. Serry.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this community, and I hope together we'll do better job and improve the community. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan. Yasser.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for listening and for your questions. I want to expand just a little bit on what Brother Obi said. I think it's very important. I think that the lack of volunteers, the lack of participation, the lack of having those 95% of the people here, it really goes back to love of the space, right? It's not that people don't love God. It's not that people don't love the deen. That's up to God to control. What but people have options. They can decide to come to the mosque or they can decide not to come to the mosque. And that really goes to how much they love being here, right? How, you can have great lectures, but at the end of the day, how does somebody feel about being here? Do they feel good when they come here? Do they feel spiritually alive when they come here? Do they feel impassioned when they come here? Do they want to do the work? Right now, that's not the case. There's very few people that are holding the burden for the whole community. Now, Allah has given them big shoulders. So, alhamdulillah, it's moving forward. But we need lots of shoulders so that the burden can be carried by lots of people. So that comes with really loving this space. The children have to love this space, the women have to love this space, and the men have to love this space. So we have to figure out ways to create love for this space. Then the finances will come, the volunteers will come, and the community will thrive, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. My apologies, in the pile of cards, one card got missed for Brother Nashid, and so I kind of asked him to make his last remarks answering the question on how he would face the most important challenge he would face as a board member and how he would face that. So I'm sorry though, you still have the time.
I guess it's the benefit of being last. Just throw everything on it. I think one thing that we all need to remember, board member or not, but especially as a board member, that we didn't get here by accident. Allah invited each and every one of us. And when He invited us to be Muslim, He also brought with that responsibilities. That carries special responsibilities as a Muslim. And we sit in that boardroom. We also have to understand that it was made very clear to us that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ always made it clear to the Quran that he's but a man. I'm not God. I may make mistakes, but the mistakes I make will not be the ones that God gave me direction for. They'll be the ones that I thought for myself. And when we're in that boardroom thinking for ourselves, we must understand that we're all at different levels, different life experiences, different work experiences, all different levels of experience. So where we come from is actually coming from within us. And unless we have something to gauge that on, like the Quran, the Sunnah, the Hadith, then it's coming from us and we're subject to mistakes. And as long as we understand that, and we don't get mad at each one of us who might not think the way that the other thinks, and we begin to work through it, talk through it, and then take the consensus of the board and live by that, we'll be all right. And sometimes I find out that with me, that's the biggest struggle. I know more than anybody else. But most people don't agree. That's the problem. So I'm just saying, as we're in the boardroom, I think the biggest challenge in the board is us getting outside of ourselves so that we can get to the resolution of whatever the issue is for the benefit of the people with the guidance of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Hadith and Sunnah.
Jazakallahu khairan. With that, one more time, the voting times. We have today, we have tomorrow, inshallah, at the fundraising dinner. We have Monday and Wednesday from 6:30 to 8, and we have 2 times on Friday, inshallah, 1:30 to 3:30, and then 5:30 to 7:30.